congratulations at the end of the race for our first 2 Micromax finals. And we do have an amended grid. After 3 race victories yesterday, Max Scott Marsh was Great Britain in the number Drivers now head on to their formation. Timer now 7 minutes and 4 now at 11 minutes.
Different temperature bracket that we are now in. We're in the low 20s, 21 degrees currently, and that's Celsius with regards to air temperature, as the drivers now will make their way into turn number 8. So they're just trying to get themselves into the correct grid order. So with regards to the points, it will be 25 for a victory, 20 for second place. And if we get a tie in terms of positions,
Last results. Have had it before. 2 drivers with exactly the same points. 1 driver had a country of Rotax in March. March on the beneficial in the second final in Spain. Took over now come through. Team travel. Red lights are on. They go out. We're off to racing the first final of the day. Down to turn 1. Good work, boys.
past Mies Huben as it's oh, and then someone goes bouncing off of the curbs there. And that was at the back part of the field. So at the moment, Max Sadursky is currently leading the way in the number 19, followed by Scott Marsh. Mies Huben from the Netherlands in P3. Jake Menton in 4th position. All 8 drivers still circulating at the moment, as they now come through turn number 11 and into turn 12, as they start to get their way around the first lap. So line astern between the top 3. Sadursky leads, Marsh in 2nd, Mies Huben 3rd. 4th it's Jake Menton, ahead of Zdeněk Babishek, who's being closed in on and now passed by Boris Maximov. And Babishek tries to go up the inside through turn 3. Runs a little bit heftily over the curbs and has to drop back. And then it's Avisil Kurtai from Austria and Casarino from Germany. All 8 runners and riders still circulating, as Mies Huben has got past Scott Marsh for position and had made the move complete before turn number 7 off of the back straight away. The The top three last time around, when we completed lap number 1, were just over a quarter of a second from front to back. Just under 9 minutes remaining, plus an additional lap, as Marsh now back up into second position. And Marsh now trying to go for the lead as Max Swiderski runs very, very wide. Oh, way too wide, and that allows both Scott Marsh and Mies Houben to get past. And Jake Menton could have actually capitalised there and gone up into third place. So the Brit now leading ahead of Mies Houben. Jake Menton closing up. Oh, and there's a tap from behind on the back bumper of Swiderski that nearly unsettles the number 19 into turn 7. But the Dutch driver keeps it nice and calm and composed. Goes towards the outside and takes a cut across approach through into the entrance into turn 9. As Casarino trying to close on Avisil Kutai for 7th position. Marsh now trying to break the momentum that is being carried by Mies Houben. There's Menton. Houben runs wide. Oh, we've had one spin around. And that was the 32 of Boz Maximov, who went into, and the rain has started to fall once again. So 7 minutes and 38 to go on the clock, plus an additional lap. The drivers are now going to have to start tippy-toeing around the course. And it is starting to intensify a little bit more. So the drivers now, really, it is about just sort of surviving through this race. Oh, and Scott Marsh has gone off of turn 7. Swiderski manages to get through, and we've had another one go off. That was Jake Menton. So the drivers now really, the Mojo tyres that they're using are going to be like they're driving on ice at the moment without any studded tyres, as Marsh goes towards the outside. The rain coming down. And I've just seen, I think that's Mies Houben, who's now all the way down the order. As Zdenek Babishek now up into second. Scott Marsh powers his way past. Oh, red flag has been called. Red flag has been called. Race director has given us a stoppage with the inclemental conditions now worsening. And he's stopping the drivers on the starting grid. So red flag has been called. So now Niklas Casarino and Jake Menton will take up their places at the tail end of the field on the starting grid. A very, very wise call by our race director to call a stoppage with 6 minutes and 50 on the clock to go. So we were fast approaching. We were 1 minute and 20 away from the halfway point of this race. But red flag has been called in the first Micromax final. After a short delay where rain did stop play here at karting Genk, we are back underway. The timer was set at 6 minutes and 50 seconds on the stroke of the red flag. As now the drivers will make their way around the circuit, which has been now made a little bit green, let's say. It's going to be a new challenge for the drivers. And it's not just the Micromax drivers that are out on the circuit at the moment. They will do a sighting lap or formation lap, and then they will get back racing. So the timer has started counting down. They are under a full course yellow condition all the way through the lap. So the drivers now making their way towards turn number 7. And when we come through turn 12, we will be back to full green flag racing conditions. So when the rain decides to add a bit of spice to the variety that we have, and they do say that variety is the spice of life, this is going to possibly give us a bit more dramatic measure throughout the course of the racing day. So all Micromax drivers have had their Mojo dry tyre, slick tyres changed to the relevant wet ones that they, up until this point, haven't had to use. So it is a new way of trying to find out how you're going to be able to push the limits. So what will happen is that we will be in the formation as per the positions of the drivers as they finished on the red flag. Now we go lights out and off with 4 minutes and 26 seconds on the clock. Scott Marsh trying to get away from Mies Hooben, who's going around the outside. Oh! Now, I'm not too sure if there was a little bit of contact there, but Scott Marsh goes 180 degrees and backwards off of turn 2. And I think also Max Sadursky is now down in 6th position. Scott Marsh now having to fight back in this first of 2 finals. Now, I wasn't too sure if there was whether there was a little bit of contact or whether the back end of the number 47 of Scott Marsh ended up going tail happy and around, going through turn 2, because it was a different start at that particular time. We went lights out and we went to green flag conditions. So Mies Hooben leads the race. Second is Jake Menton. Drivers now making their way down. And it looks like Avisil Kutai from Austria now up into 3rd place. Boris Maximov in 4th. Max Sadursky trying to use as much of the track as possible and gets past Boris Maximov for P4. Just over 3 minutes plus a lap of this first of 2 Micromax finals here at karting Genk. And Hooben leads by over 9/10 of a second from Jake Menton. Third is Dragos Avisil Kutai from Austria. Max Sadursky now P4. Boris Maximov rounds out the top 5 positions. Kasarino, Babishek and Marsh. That is the running order at the moment. And you can just see the amount of different lines that drivers are taking, and Max Sadursky went round towards the outside of turn number 6, and Boris Maximov looked to be a bit more composed, trying to go through turn 6, and is now over by the back bumper of the number 19 as they go through turn 8. As Mies Hooben goes to the right, goes to the left. Jake Menton did briefly take the lead, but now Mies Hooben has it back with him at the moment. Scott Marsh, oh, sideways by Mies Hooben, trying to go through and negotiate turn 10. Menton looking towards the inside through turn 11 as they now pick up speed and momentum heading to turn 12. And one of the biggest things that the drivers should be aware of is that the curbs will be incredibly slick. Huben now trying to fend off Jake Menton again. Menton goes towards the inside of turn 2. Goes up the inside and manages to get his way past Mies Huben. And that was through going into turn 4. Even with wet weather tyres, the drivers will try and use as many different racing lines as possible, because all the rubber that has been laid down over the past few days since Wednesday, the grip now is not there, and the wet weather tyres will bring up the rooster tails at the back axle of the karts. Mies Huben now is trying to close on Jake Menton, who leads coming into turn number 10, as we've got just under 35 seconds on the clock to go. Plus 1 lap. So when Jake Menton, who started 5th in this race when we went lights out initially, now leads. Huben in 2nd. As Huben now goes up the inside of Menton, tries to go and get the run and goes sideways through turn 2. Menton goes up the inside and gets the lead back, coming through turns 2 and 3. There's now Niklas Casarino, now trying to get past Zdenek Babishek for 6th position. And Scott Marsh trying to get back with the rest of the field, but the Dan Holland Racing driver now down in 8th position. Boris Maximov, in the meantime, has got past, as it is nearly... Oh, Mies Huben goes round in the inside of Jake Menton on this particular occasion, through into turn 8. But then Mies Huben goes towards the outside of turn 9, trying to get the cut back through. The two were nearly side by side, but Mies Huben powers past. So just to let everyone know that we will have a 20-minute delay until the lunch break as of the junior Rotax session for final number 1. So we're about 20 minutes behind schedule. We go on to the final lap now. Mies Huben now has a lead of around about 4 and a bit tenths of a second. Dragos Avisil Kutai from Austria rounds out the top 3. Then it's Max Zadersky. Just behind, well, not that far behind is Boaz Maximov, with Zdenek Babishek and Niklas Casarino in 6th and 7th. And then we have Scott Marsh. Final lap for Micromax. Final number 1 as Jake Menton tried to look up the inside of Mies Huben. So the number 28 from GKS Lemons Power leads at the moment, coming through turn 7 and gets a bit tail happy again, trying to put the power down through the corner. Menton starting to close. And it's less than a half a kart length between them as they exit turn number 8, and Menton strikes through turn 9, runs wide coming out of the corner. Huben again gets the power down, the pair side by side. Oh, that was very, very close there coming into turn 10. Huben now loses the back end a little bit. Menton goes a little bit wide coming out of turn 10. Into turn 11 for the final time. And Mies Huben trying to strike, trying to power out of the corner, getting the traction through into turn 12. Menton trying to go towards the inside run. Huben looks over his right shoulder. The checkered flag waves. And after a drama-filled Micromax final number 1, Mies Huben takes the win by just 0.344 of a second. And Jake Menton punches the air with one fist to celebrate a 2nd position. And Dragos Avisil Kutai from Austria, who started down in 7th place, takes 3rd in this race. Max Zadersky would recover to take 4th position ahead of Boaz Maximov. Niklas Casarino, Zdenek Babishek and Scott Marsh round out the 8 strong. And a nice little bit of sportsmanship there from Mies Huben, who wins a drama-filled, red flag stopped Micromax final number 1. Ahead of Jake Menton with Dragos Avisil Kotai rounding out the top 3, followed by Max Sidersky, Boris Maximov, Niklas Kasarino, Zdenek Babishek, and also Great Britain's Scott Marsh. And they will have their next final after the lunch break this afternoon.